Hey, so in college, there was this girl. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever seen a girl like from far away and you're like, this is the girl that I'm going to be with? Maybe this week you saw that girl. I, I need to let you know that up until this time in college, despite what you may think, I was not crushing it with the ladies. Uh, and it wasn't because I was like a good little Christian boy. It's because no girls wanted to be with me. And so I was trying. I was doing my best to like find a girl. And I'm to the point in college where it's like, we're getting down to the wire. And I noticed this girl afar, and you start finding ways to hope that you're in their atmosphere. And I remember starting a year of class, and we're starting a new semester, and I had integrated science, and I got there early because I'm a studious gentleman. Got there in the front row. You know, you've been there first to class. All you do the whole time is you just look at the door. You look at the door hoping you have a friend that comes in. You're like hoping someone walks through that door that you know. And I remember vividly sitting in this seat, and all of a sudden, this girl walks through that door. And listen, I don't know what you do with praying, but I was praying. Like I was praying, Lord, if you are real, convince this girl that I am the least worst option to sit by in this class. Like, look around and allow her to choose me and let you know the Lord is working on my behalf, because I didn't know this, but there was an empty seat. And then over here was a girl I didn't know that turned out to be this girl's friend. And so she comes in, I know, right? And she sits next to me, and I just have a semester to convince this girl to fall madly in love with me. And so we're making things work. I don't want to brag in front of all you people, but we went to the library and studied together a few times. And I finally work up the courage to ask this girl out on a date. I go hey, I don't remember exactly how it went, but I'm sure I was really nonchalant and vibey and cool and stuff. I asked her, and she said yes. So we're very excited. She says yes. And so I'm racking my brain this is it. This is the last chance I have to find a girl to like me. I have to make the most of this. I need this to work for me. And so I decided I'm going to take her to the best restaurant in my hometown. And a few days later, I pick her up. And this is really just for you coaches. I had a Buick LeSabre, which is an old car. And what's cool about Buick LeSabre is that a bench seat. So I'm thinking she starts over there, but end of the day, come on now. She's sliding over, little middle seat excitement. You know, that's the plan. This is College Jake's plan. So I pick her up, she gets in the car, we drive, we get out at Buffalo Wild Wings, and we go, we walk in, and I have the meal of my dreams. I don't remember, I probably had 25 wings. She probably had a salad. And I barely looked at the TVs, a lot of direct eye contact, really important. And it's time to get up and leave, and I call the waiter over, and I pay with a gift card, because I'm a good steward of my money, pay with a gift card. And it's time to go back, or the plan is to go back to her apartment. We're going to watch a movie. Yeah, you know. And I get up from my seat, and I don't know if you've ever gotten up from sitting for a long time, and then all of a sudden your tummy, it was good here, but now it's here. And all I have is I have so much gas. And I'm walking, I'm clenching every muscle in my body. Please, not now. Not now, Lord. And we're walking, and I have this brilliant idea that I waddle to the car, and I open the door for her, which is a brilliant plan. And she gets in, she sits down, I close the door, just instant release. Woo! I'm shaking the leg, you know what I'm saying? You've done this movie, you shake the leg, and I'm doing the long walk around. She's falling in love with me in the car. And I'm convinced this is going to work out for me. And so I open the door, I sit down, I close the door, and I don't know how science works, but something happened. Some type of vortex of suction pulls all the outside air into the inside air. And you can't see it, but you can see it. You know what I'm saying? It's moving in slow motion. And everything I can do to I'm trying to breathe it in, quick, catch it. And it's slowly moving past me. And I just watch her deal with it. And I'm thinking like, well, maybe she has bad allergies. Maybe her nose doesn't work. And I remember her looking at me with all the disgust that one could have on a first date. And she just goes, "Did you just fart?" And have you ever wanted something so badly, but you screwed it up? Like you wanted it so desperately, but you went and messed it up. Like I don't know what this is. Maybe you've been trying out all summer. We're in your driveway. I'm gonna beat the basketball team. I'm getting my shots up. I got tryouts at 8 a.m. I show up on Monday. Everybody's already playing basketball. And the coach is like, "Sir, like, what are you doing?" And you go, "I'm here for the tryouts." And he says, "Oh, you mean the ones that started at 7? Hey, have you been studying? You've been studying because you got to get into this school. You're working hard to get there, and you're studying for this math test. You need this math test because the last couple math tests weren't very good. And you're studying, you show up, you open the folder, and it says like chapter 12. Like I've been studying chapter 11. Like if you wanted, like you're working so hard, like you're about to be 16, you want your driver's license. And you're earning the trust of your parents over time, over and over and over again. But your parents, they decide to go out of town. You absolutely cannot drive when your parents are not in town, but they didn't mean like to Kevin's house. Like they like Kevin. He's just around the corner. And you just get in the car and you drive there, and turns out your dad is like Sherlock Holmes, and he figures it out. And just like that, your trust is gone. And this thing you've worked so hard for, you messed it up. This week, we've been living in the book of Ephesians, talking about what it looks like to be a kingdom worker. And Paul is talking about this Jesus life that we so desperately want to be a part of. And there's a verse that Jesus actually says this when he's speaking in John. He describes what this life is, and I love this verse. Jesus says, "I have come so that you may have life, and life to the full." I have come so you may have life and life to the full. And life to the full is the goal. Life to the full is what we're looking for. A place where you know that you completely belong. You don't wonder if your friends are actually your friends. You know that they're your friends. You don't wonder if you have a purpose. You don't wonder why you exist, because you get what life to the full is, a place that's full of generosity and forgiveness and love. And I don't know exactly what that life looks like, but I feel like I've seen it in glimpses. A few weeks ago, I was at the airport, and I was supposed to get picked up, and my ride was like 20 minutes late. And I really feel like God gave me 20 minutes to notice something. Because I was sitting in the airport, and for 20 minutes, I just watched people get picked up. I watched wives walk out, and their husbands are pulling up. I watched grandparents pulling up to get their kids. I watched parents reconnecting, friends getting back together, in just the moment of joy, where they're so excited to see you and you're so excited to see them. And that's life to the full. But it wouldn't just be a hint, it'd be a life where you were completely loved and accepted and brought into what's going on. And the reality is, you and I, we've been trying hard to find this life. Like, trust me, Jake, I'm trying to get after this life. I'm following things on the internet. I'm doing all the workouts. I'm watching my peptides. Like I'm saying, I'm doing what people say. I want this great life, but I don't feel like I have access to it. I don't feel like I can step into this life to the full. And the reality is that you can't. Not on your own. Paul says this in Ephesians chapter 2. If you got your Bibles or you're rocking a phone, pull that out. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1, it says this: as for you, as for the person next to you, as for me, as for your coach, as for your student pastor, as for you, you were dead. And I don't mean just like physically dead, like clearly I'm up here talking. But as for you and I, we are spiritually dead. We are spiritually cut off from this life and life to the full. And we're cut off, it says why. You're dead in your sin and your transgressions. You're cut off because of your choices. Because of the fact that you choose to live for you and not for God. You're cut off because you choose to try to replace God with other things. You try to ignore him altogether. Maybe you try to perform your way into his good graces. If only I serve every single weekend, 17 services a weekend. Then God will notice me. We're dead because the enemy tells us that we should try to be God. And we don't have access to this life and life to the full. And here's what I know about being dead. If you're dead, there's nothing that you can do about it. My oldest daughter, Rylan, this is like 8 years ago. She was probably like 18 months old. And at our house in Arizona, we had a pool in the backyard. And it was wintertime, so it was still like cold. I'm wearing like jeans. Like, I'm not going in the water. It's clearly too cold. I'm not going in there. I'm out there I'm like leaf guy, though. I don't know if you have a pool, but I'm doing a lot of this. I'm like a leaf guy, man. And I'm out there leaf guying. And my daughter, who's 18 months, totally can't swim, she's like crawling right up next to the edge of the pool. And I'm on the other side. I'm over here, like I'm watching, but she's over there. And I remember vividly this moment where all of a sudden the slider door slams open, and my wife is like, "Hey, if she falls in the pool, are you going to jump in and save her?" I remember being like, "Yeah, that's like my main job as a dad. If my kid falls into a pool, I've already pre-decided that I'm going to save them. I'm going to jump in and solve that problem." And I think about saving someone. I think when you want to save someone, 3 things need to happen. The first thing is you have to notice that someone's dying. If my daughter was outside by the pool by herself and I was inside the house and she fell in the pool, there's nothing I can do because I didn't notice her fall in. But it's not even good enough for me to notice her fall in. There's a second step. You have to care that she falls in. If I'm outside and I see that she falls in, of course, I love my daughter. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to save my daughter. But if her like stuffed animal falls in the pool, like I ain't going in there. It's cold. I might like leaf it out. You know what I'm saying? I might try to get it up out of there. I don't care about her puppy. I care about her. Someone's dying, you have to notice and you have to care. And the last thing, and this is the most important thing, you have to have the ability to rescue. My daughter Rylan has a sister, and her name is Oakley. She's a little bit younger. And if my daughters were outside and Rylan fell into the pool, her sister Oakley would notice. She might scream, she might cry, and she would care. She would care so much that she's watching her sister sink to the bottom of the pool. But if my other daughter, Oakley, tried to jump in and save Rylan, she would die too. If you're dying, someone needs to notice, someone needs to care, and they have to have the ability to rescue you. Well, Jake, earlier you were saying that we want access to life and life to the full, but you said that we couldn't have it because we're dead. We're dead in our sin. In order for someone to save me, someone would first have to notice me. And this is a problem, Jake, because let me tell you, no one notices me. I'm a middle child. I got 2 older siblings, 2 younger siblings, and my parents, they work all the time, and I never see them. When they come home, it's like I'm invisible. It's like they just walk right by me. Like sure, Jake, I have these friends that are supposed to be my friends, but like when they post something on Instagram, they get engagement and likes and reposts. But when I post, it's nothing. I have these friends that are supposed to be here with me, but Jake, if I got to the lunchroom first and I grabbed my food and I went and I sat down, I know that they would walk right by me to the next table. Jake, I'm in trouble because no one ever notices me. I think Paul wants to say to you what he said to the people in Ephesus. Ephesians 2, verse 1 says, as for you, you were dead in your transgressions. But verse 4 says this, but because of his great love for us, but God. The God, now this is crazy, the God of the universe, the God that designed this whole place, that didn't just use his hands, but spoke and this world came into being. The God that says you are his handiwork, his masterpiece, his perfect craftsmanship, that God, he notices you. He looks down from where he is and he sees you. He notices your struggle. Well, sure, Jake, it's cool that he notices, but like, I mean, I've seen a bunch of movies and people in power, people that have all this, they don't care about people down here. The king doesn't care about the slaves. The president just wants to get reelected. The CEO just wants to make money. Like, people in power don't care about people down here with me. And even the people close to me don't care. Jake, it's just me and my sister. And a year ago, my dad just got up and left. He walked out, haven't heard from him since. My mom made it 6 months. Now I'm with grandma. Jake, I've never been so angry. Every conversation I have, I just want to fight people. I don't know what to do with it. It's boiling up in me. I'm just mad all of the time. And my sister, she's not mad, but I haven't seen her. She's locked herself in her room. She's the saddest person I know. She's terrified to go outside. These emotions, she doesn't know what to do with them. They're sitting there and I'm like, Jacob, honestly, I'm scared for her. And people notice, they notice it all the time. Everyone at school, dude, you got an anger problem. Hey, what's up with her? She never shows up to anything anymore. People notice me all the time. They just don't seem to give a crap. They look right at me and they look right by me. Hey, you'll deal with that when you're older. This is just a high school problem. This ain't something for you. And sure, it's cool that God notices me, but everyone else in my life just dismisses me. And Paul says otherwise. In Ephesians chapter 4, he goes on, but because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy. Mercy is a powerful word. Mercy is a word that says someone looks at you and they look at what you deserve. They look at the wrath that you should have coming to you, the consequences that you should have because of your sin and your choices. And mercy says, I love you anyways. I care about who you are. As for you, as for me, we are dead. But God, he notices and he cares. He cares about us. Jake, I'll play this game. Maybe God notices my deadness. Shoot, maybe he even cares about how dead I am. But Jake, I'm sitting in a room like this, and I need you to know that there is no one here that is as dead as me. Jake, maybe God wanted to save me before, but he's sick of my behavior. My life hasn't been good, and so I'm just trying to find a way to like get a high, and I found it one way, and now it's escalated, and now I'm taking these pills. They're supposed to make me feel good, and I take them, and I'm gone. I'm gone for a few hours, and I wake up in my bedroom, and I'm staring at the ceiling. So what am I doing? I flush them down the toilet, and then it's like 3 days later, I go back to my guy, I get more, and maybe God wanted to save me before. But he doesn't want to save someone as dead as me. Someone who makes mistake after mistake after mistake. And maybe for you, it's not repeated mistakes. Maybe for you, it's this one big mistake. Jake, I've been going through a lot. All my girlfriends, they like convinced me. Jake, I made a video. They said it was supposed to be empowering. People at my school, they found the video. Jake, my parents have seen this video. We've had to move schools. And sure, maybe God notices me and maybe he cares about me, but there's no one in this room who is as dirty and as broken and as messed up and as dead as me. Maybe your deadness isn't because of thing after thing after thing or this one big thing. Maybe you feel like you're dead because someone did something to you. Someone that had power and authority in your life, that was supposed to love you, that was supposed to protect you, did the unthinkable. You're sitting in this room and it's like, hey, God, you can't save someone as dirty as me. I'm just too dead. But because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, has made us alive with Christ. Even when we were dead in our transgressions, it is by grace that you have been saved. But God made us alive with Christ. Even when we were dead in our transgressions, it is by grace that you have been saved. You and I, we are dead, but God has the power to rescue us. Our God, the creator of this world, is in the dead to life business, and he had a plan the whole time. God sent his perfect son, Jesus, to live here on this earth. He was fully man and yet fully God, and he walked among us. He dealt with the temptations that you deal with. And he was perfect. He did not sin. He was never dead. But in order to be the go-between for us, Jesus had to suffer. And he had to die. He was crucified. He was nailed to a tree. He was crucified. 2 beams, nails through his hands and his feet. And his blood was shed so that you and I would have the ability to be rescued. The kingdom worker life is about walking with Jesus, stepping in this life and life to the fullest, but you and I were dead. There's nothing that we can do about it. But here's what's awesome about the gospel. The gospel is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Stepping into life to the full is as simple as admitting that your way is not good enough, that you are a sinner, that everything that you choose to do will lead to destruction. And admitting that you're full of sin and asking God for forgiveness. And then it's believing that Jesus is the only person that has the power to save you. And then it's committing your life to the pursuit of Jesus. Not the pursuit of perfection, but the pursuit of walking in step with God. I so desperately want to step into the life that Jesus has for me, the life to the full. But I can't access it if I'm just doing it by myself. But luckily, God notices, God cares, and God has the power to rescue. In the 1800s, people kept dying. And they were dying because there wasn't anything to do. The doctors weren't smart enough to solve these problems. They couldn't get to the point of where they needed to get to, and they were trying their best. They were trying their best to solve the problems, but the bodies literally were piling up. And doctors couldn't decide who was dead and who was alive, and all they could do is they would put a mirror next to the nose of someone. And if they saw breath on the mirror, they would know that that person is alive. But if there's no breath, they would do the same thing that we would do, and they would bury them in a coffin. A wooden coffin, and they would lower them into the ground. And that seemed like a good plan at the time, but what happened is people started walking by these graveyards, and they started to hear things. They started to hear yelling and noises and scraping, and they were terrified. Because these groanings, these noises were coming from tombs. And finally, someone had the boldness to venture into the graveyard and go towards the noise, and it was getting louder, and they started to dig up the ground, and they opened the coffin, and they found that a man that they thought was dead was actually alive. He'd been buried, still with breath in his lungs. And as you can imagine, people started to be terrified. They were more afraid of being buried alive than actually dying. And so someone invented something called a safety coffin. And a safety coffin was just like a normal coffin. The only difference is it had a rope. And this rope would be attached to their wrist. And they were lowered down into the ground. This rope would go up out of the ground, and it would be attached to a bell. And if they rang it, they would know that someone who was dead simply needed to be rescued. And the reality is, for a lot of us in here tonight, we feel like we're buried alive. Claustrophobic, completely dead. Dead because of our sin, our choices, our shame. Dead because of what we've done or what someone's done to us. And when we're dead, there's nothing that we can do about it. But God notices us. He notices us while we are dead. And he doesn't just stop at noticing us. Our God cares about us. He has mercy on us. And he offers us forgiveness through the grace of Jesus. He sent his one and only Son to be the go-between between you and I. Our God, he doesn't just notice us. He doesn't just care about us. Our God has the power to rescue us. All of us want life and life to the full. But on our own, we are dead. But God notices, God cares, and God rescues.